To buy face mask. I needed to turn on my laptop to ask for help from my phone. Okay. Hey everyone, so sorry I'm late for discussion because I want to buy some face masks, but it's really difficult to buy. Nowadays, the virus has become more and more serious along the time past. Did you guys buy masks?
Huh? What virus make you need to buy mask? Is the virus danger?
Hey, you don't know me? COVID-19 is the latest and popular news nowadays. Let me tell you what is that. COVID-19, which stands for Coronavirus Disease 2019. COVID-19 is caused by a member of the coronavirus family that had never been encountered before. The virus is mainly transmitted through droplets generated when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or exhales. Therefore, we can infect without wearing a mask, and that is why mask is essential for us.
Do you all know, actually, I also went out today to buy masks, but unfortunately, I couldn't find any mask. Most of the store that I went, they were all sold out as well.
See, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the world has fallen into a shortage of masks. So according to the data from World Health Organizations, there is no vaccine to control this virus, right? So the world needs to take precautions before the mask shortages can occur the case. So do you guys think what kind of the method can be overcome the problems? Let's discuss it.
Yeah, I have an opinion about the methods which overcomes the virus problem should be by the government. Firstly, the government should control mask price because no mask will endanger the lives of the individuals. Although the high income consumers can afford very high mask prices, the higher price face masks are not suited for the civilian population. In addition, the government should purchase a certain number of masks. It can be provided to the first-line medical staff and distributed to people who cannot afford the price of the masks for free. On the one hand, once first-line medical staff did not get better medical insurance, that means the medical system will collapse. On the other hand, under high prices, if low incomes people cannot buy masks and they may become the potential virus infector and the spreaders. They may become people who magnify the public health crisis. So how about other solutions?
I actually have a solution also. I think the government actually plays a very important role for the citizens to overcome the shortage of masks as well as the spreading of the virus. I think my solution is actually distribution of masks by government to the citizens. I think government should actually distribute masks to households, with each household at least receiving 4 masks, which means a family will receive at least 4 masks. The mask actually could be distributed through community centers or residents committee. Do you all know, actually, during this outbreak in Singapore, their government helped their citizens to give out masks to the household through the help of their soldiers, their army forces. They did this in a resident center. So the Singapore citizens, they can come to the resident center to collect their mask. Through this, they don't have to go out and buy masks. They don't have to take initiative to go out, because most of the place the masks are sold out. So I think in this global shortage, the government's initiative would actually help the citizens to be safe, as well as to ease the burden of citizens to find masks, because the citizens would actually rather go to their community center to receive their mask rather than going out to find masks. So I think this would be a great solution. Other than this, do you all have any other solutions?
So yeah, in my point of view, based on the current critical situation, right? So I could like to suggest, in order to overcome the shortages of store supply surgical face mask in the country, so we could order from the top recognized pharmaceuticals productions countries, such like India, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, and China. So as we know, those countries are working neck to neck to meet globally demands. So based on the World Health Organization's formal announcement, China, South Korea, and Taiwan has been praised for their speedy actions by their governments to contain this pandemic issue. So as to date, this country has been almost zero patients of COVID-19. So we could learn from the actions of this country at the same time seeking their assistance, such like sending the medical teams to assist our healthcare system and to request a donations for the surgical face mask to store to back up to our current situation. So as we know also through the media, China has been donating the face mask to those countries with critical infections, such like Italy, France, and USA. So with this humanitarian assistance from China, our healthcare system will be fully equipped and well organized to overcome this pandemic issue, right? So Zhongxu, did you have any suggestion to show this problem?
For me, I think less outdoor activities is one point to overcome the shortage of masks. Because of high spreading of risk of COVID-19, less outdoor activities can prevent contact with crowd and reduce wearing face masks. Because according to the statistics I found from internet, government encourage people to stay at home and the people follow instructions is clearly show the spreading of virus is slower one day to one day. And I can conclude my point by less outdoor activities equal to less time to wear face mask. How about that's your point?
Yeah, your point is good, but I think that you also can consider my solution, which is a limitation by the distributor towards the number of masks that can be bought by each member or households. As we know, the novel coronavirus outbreak grips the world, and this situation are making people feel picnic to go out to buy masks for emergency standby purpose. But in this situation, there's no limit in purchasing the mask, where they will just buy as much as mask they need without considering to other people. So I think that the distributor should limit the quantity of mask that can be purchased by each individual. For example, if there are sufficient stock of masks, then the individual can buy more masks, which they can buy one box of masks. Otherwise, there should be a limitation. For example, each person only can buy 5 masks. And then other than that, I also think that the selfish behavior should not be engaged among people, such as storing too many masks at home. Instead, they should keep the mask for those in need. For example, the frontliner who are doctor, police, no, nurse, and so on. Because I think that mask is also very important for them to treat with the virus. Do you all think this is true?
Yes. I think all of us have a very good point, but I think we should actually choose one best point. But in order to choose that one best point, we actually need to sort out some criteria that could actually link up to our solutions and decide which solution is the best. So in my opinion, I think one of the first and most important criteria that we should consider about is regarding the cost, which means the amount needed to implement each of the solutions that are given by us. So I think it could be ranging from high to low, which means if high, it is above 500. If it's medium, then it should be around 100 to 500. And if it's low cost, it should be below than 100. So I think one of the most important criteria will be the cost of implementing the solutions. Other than this, what other criteria do you all think that will be very good to link to our solutions?
Yeah, the completion of times, I think is also very important, is the one criteria, because we also need to consider the time required to implement the solutions. So how long does it take complete the proposed solutions? Long, medium, or short time? So we need to consider these questions also. So anyone have any ideas about other criteria?
Yes, I think you are right. But the next criteria is also very important, which is about the effectiveness. This means the effectiveness that needed for implementing the solution. In this criteria, there are 3 stages or levels, such as high, which means very effective, medium, less effective, and low, unable to solve the problem. This is my opinion. Do you all think that there's still got any other criteria that we need to consider also?
Yes, I think availability also is one of the criteria to implement this solution. We need to know if the solution are easily abundant and used in the market, which is easily found. available but limited or is low availability. So Zhongxu, how about you? What criteria that you think is to implement our solution?
Besides cost, time, effectiveness, availability, governance also play an important role. Governance is the measure of the extent to which solution meets problem needs and priorities. There are three stages. First of all is high, which is highly related, medium, which is partially related, and low, which is related but not strongly. So Wang Long, can you compare your point with all the criteria we said just now?
Yeah, let me explain the criteria. For the cost, the government controls the price of the mask, which cost should be little, because the government can adjust the taxes and change the system to control the mask prices and increase the production. For time, through the government to control factories, manufacturers, and markets, the response time is short. For the effectiveness, most of the mask manufacturing machine belongs to the national enterprises. So most of the mask manufacturers, manufacturer and enterprises can effectively respond to the system under the country. For availability, the purpose of the government control of the state-owned enterprise is to realize the common interest of the whole people. The epidemic situation is also a common problem for all people. Therefore, the price of the mask controlled by the government is very high in availability. For the reference, the government needs to publish the system and the standards, and the mask manufacturers can refer the system to implement the price setting and the production increase. So the reference is high. That's my point.
I think for my point, which is actually distribution of masks through the government to the citizens, according to the criteria, the first one which I have said, which is cost, I think it is medium because it requires around 100 to 400. It's not too high and it's not too low for the distribution of masks. As for the time, I think it will take a long time. Why? Because in order to distribute the masks for the citizens, the government itself have to receive their supply of masks from others. So the process of receiving the supply and distributing the supply will actually take a long time. For the effectiveness, it will be very high because the main concern of us is actually shortage of masks. So if each of the citizens or residents is given mask, so it will be very effective and helpful for them, and also could prevent them from going out to search mask. For the availability criteria, I think it's medium because it is not always available and it is not very low in availability. So it is in the medium range. It is available through the government. So as for the last criteria, which is relevant, I think it is very high because it is actually highly related to our main concern, which is shortage of masks. So for the other solutions, can you all link it to the criteria?
Just like for my point, right, which is take external sources to supply masks. So those countries happen to purchase from these production countries, they could be non-cost effective. But transportation such like shipping fees, internet distributions, and locally transportation, all these will occur the high costing. So time consuming will be longer, like the shipping times, which will take 10 to 40 days of arrival. So for the effectiveness and availability required for imitation in these solutions, right? So I think it's medium and can suppress the problem, but the efficiency is low and available but limited. So now that the COVID-19 virus, right, has spread around the world, so some countries have been stopped from exporting due to the internal shortages, like for example, South Korea, India, and Thailand. So we know that for the solutions is partly related to the shortage of masks. Like beside the ban of the exporting to those countries, in need they could use a diplomatic ways in order to fulfill their demand. So how about social solutions?
In my point of view, according to the 5 criteria, less outdoor activities is low in cost, short in time, high effectiveness, high availability, and media relevance. While less outdoor activities is low in cost because everyone stay at home, which means no need to buy more masks. And why short in time because no need so much time to implement and the people just stay at home. And the effectiveness is high because everyone stay at home and the people no need to wear mask at home. The relevance is medium, which means rated but not strongly because if stay at home, it doesn't mean the food is sent to door every day and we still need to go out to buy daily needs and food. And also, not everyone work from home. How about Solange?
Okay, for my point, which is the limitation by the distributor, I think that the cost required is low. Why I'm saying that because I think that this solution actually require very little or even not include any cost at all. Because I think that as long as the distributor and the customer cooperate between each other, and then I think that this solution will be successfully implemented. While for the time required for this solution is lesser than 3 weeks, which is because this solution will need some time among the distributor and the customer to reach a consensus in order to make sure the customer can accept and follow the rules, that given by the government. And then the effectiveness is high. Why I'm saying this? Because the limitation of purchasing masks can ensure everyone has masks. So the demand for the mask will not be increased in the market, and then the mask shortage problem can be overcome also. While for the availability is available but limited obtained in the market. Why I'm saying this? Because you know, right? China is one of the country that provide us masks, but they are also facing same problem with us, where they are also face a severe problem of mask shortage. So they will unable to provide us masks. And one more thing, their government has also even prohibited the manufacturers from exporting the mask to our country. Why they are doing this? Because their country need to prioritize the local needs first. And then for the last one is the relevant, which is in medium. As we know, the coronavirus is getting more serious each day. And then all the people are going out to buy face masks for protection. So the supplier also said that the demand for the mask is cannot be met. So although the efficiency is high, but to implement this solution, it also require the cooperation from the other partners, which is government, manufacturers, and so on. Because some of the manufacturers will sell the mask to the store at a higher price, and then the store will also sell the mask to the people at a higher price also. So in result, the number of masks cannot be controlled. This is the criteria that we need to consider while implementing this solution. Do you all agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with all of your point, but I have some question to ask you, but may I know that why for your solution, the criteria of cost are medium? That according to my understanding, right, so government should distribute masks to households, and this mask government also import from abroad. So the government does not need a very high amount of money to import those masks.
Okay, so to answer your questions, the distribution of masks, this solution is actually divided into two. One would be the process of importing and one would be the process of distributing. So what I meant here by the medium for the cost is for the process of distribution, because in order to distribute, you don't need a high cost because government will be distributing through the help of volunteers in the residence committee, and it will be distributed to the citizens for free. So that process is actually does not take as much as it takes for the importing. So what you are asking is regarding the importing. I agree with you that the process of importing masks from the other countries will actually cost very high. But in this case, I have actually focused on the process of distribution and not the importing process. But of course, I do agree, if it is importing process, it will take a higher cost. And you all know now it is becoming serious. The outbreak is very serious. So I think the importing process will actually take even more cost rather than the normal days. So did that answer your question?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also have a question regarding the less outdoor activity solutions. Why do you think the relevance is medium? Because I think less outdoor activities is not very related to the problem of us, which is shortage of masks. Like it is not very related, because if less outdoor activities, it will reduce the spreading of virus and not the shortage of masks. So what do you think?
Yes, you are. As I said just now, less our relevance on the less our activities is medium because we stay at home. It doesn't mean the food is sent to the door every day, and we still need to go out for buying daily needs and food. And also, not everyone work from home. Less activities more like keep away from crowd to decrease the risk of infection and no need to wear mask at home. So I think my point just partially related to overcome shortage of masks. On the other hand, for me, I support one point because government really playing the important role in controlling this pandemic. Government is the main key to control everything, like control the price of face masks to make sure everyone can afford. Because as I know, some people that are poor, they maybe wear the same mask for a few days. If the price are high, they cannot afford the price. This will endanger their health.
I don't think so. Wang Lo, can you tell me why do you think that the time required by the government to control the price is short? Because according to my opinion, I think that sometimes it will take a long time because there are some irresponsible people are unwilling to follow the government instruction. They will even take this opportunity to increase the price of masks. So I think that the government may need a longer time in this solution.
Yeah. Let me answer you. Why I said the time should be low, should be short. In my opinion, the virus is different from other situation because it is a public medical emergency incident. Therefore, government usually make some strict system to control factory and manufacturer because they have the right to control. If this the market do not obey those systems, and the government can publish those person and or company, so you can do not worry about this problem. Yeah. Question, can I ask you one question?
Yeah,
With the
sure.
development of the virus in the world, it has become more and more serious, and many countries have the experience shortage of the materials. So, do you think your method is still medium efficient?
Yeah, so just only in my point of view, you already mentioned that the pandemic issue is around the world. So, but some of the country right are already overcome the problems such like South Korea and China. So they have a few larger the manufactory to produce the surgical mask. So we can seek external outsources from them. Then but in the real, these solutions could not be a high relevance because it need to depends on the demands of mass, but partly related was suitable with this solution because China just donate the 100,000 masks to Malaysians, and it is really assist us to overcome the shortage of masks for our frontliner. So did you understand? I got answer your questions, Wang Lo.
Yeah.
Wang Lo.
Mm-hmm.
So by another side, right? I actually also agree like one more solution. So it is indeed very efficient like for the government to control the price because the government has the right to implement this policy. And if a distributor raise the price without authorization, so the government has the right to arrest him and take the legal actions. So in this way, many distributors will follow this rule. So without will like increasing the price of masks so that the people will not realize like panic buying, so they can solve the problems of this shortage of masks. Right. So anybody, do you think which solution is the best solution to overcome these problems?
Actually, I also agree to the point of government control price because as we have said earlier, for that solution, that particular solution, it almost satisfies all of the criteria. most importantly, the cost is low, which will be very beneficial for the government. And the other criteria is very relevant as well. So I think the government control price would be a best solution to our problem.
So according to the discussion, we can conclude that for government control price is the best solution to overcome shortage of face masks. So thanks for you guys spending the time from this discussion and let me know more about this pandemic. See ya.
Thank you, Gaga.
Okay.
Okay.
What
That's
should we
all.
say? Stay at home.
Stay home.
Stay at
Stay
home.
safe.
Stay safe. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.